and this one's gonna seem like another one like way out of left field. And I've often thought about calling this channel Left Field. But I'm just I think really like the, like we all gotta work whatever angle we got, and I think my only angle, if anything, like with something like what I'm trying to inspire with this channel, is just to speak with inspiration as I experience it, but also speak with honesty and just reflect on different things. So I wanted to come with a different one. With this one is that if you live in the Western society long enough, you've often heard word of mouth rumors about like really like heinous things like taking place like outside of the general awareness of members of society, of ordinary members of society, where you might hear about like even like people of wealth and power doing very heinous things, such as some of the figures that we've seen go down in the media, satellites of like of very powerful like media and just affluence doing very very heinous, yet also somewhat a little bit interesting, if we're all being honest. Is like, they did what, how, what, why, stuff like that. So I just want to run with that. But for more enlightening and good faith insight, is that, imagine you had a person who was very wealthy, and they I mean like really wealthy, like so wealthy that they just did weird stuff. Like the most beautiful people, the most powerful people, they're into like weird stuff. And like when I was a little kid, I used to like fall head over heels about different girls to my detriment. And like when you start falling for someone, you kind of sense like what their tastes are, because you're desperate to be liked by them. So you are aware of anything that appears to catch their fancy if you're around them long enough and you like them enough. And when you do that, you're like, man, they like some weird shit. Like they just like, they like the things that you would never understand or fathom how that could be attractive to someone, yet they're attractive. And then you come to say, well, maybe that is kind of attractive. And like, so you just almost you widen your taste by falling head over heels and having your heart broken in different ways. And so I wanted to say that, like, people that are really powerful, they can do like they can have some taste that we may not understand. So say you had a really wealthy person, like very very wealthy, and then they took a trip to on a safari, and then they maybe unethically sourced and then poached an actual lion, and not just any lion, but like an actual like dominant lion that was like having its way in nature, as a lion, and as the quintessence of virility. And then they unethically cleaned that animal, and they actually obtained the heart of a lion that had once prevailed in nature recently. And then on top of that, they had like knowledge of how to curate that heart, and derive and refine and derive the essences of that heart, similar to like what they would do with like flowers and different food, or like fragrance and stuff like that, where they really somehow captured the essence of that lion. Or maybe they didn't even do that, and they just simply consumed in a tasteful way the heart of a living lion. I think anyone could appreciate that. At least be interesting. Like what would that actually do to a person? Would that give someone, if not just confidence, would that actually somehow affect a person? Would that person be imbued by something of the essence of the lion? Would there be something leonine? That's a cool word. That means like of like a lion. Would there be something leonine about a person who actually consumed the heart of a recently felled lion, free roaming lion? All I meant to say is that we can appreciate they on a certain level, that would at least be interesting, and maybe on some way they could be something like that lion. Yet, what are we consuming on a regular basis? Like, what's in these grocery stores? What's the main thing on most menus of fast food? And I don't mean any condescension with this, and the last thing I'm trying to tell anyone is how to eat, or what to eat, or what it means to eat something. But just think about the nature of a pig. Like, what is the nature of a pig? How do pigs behave? And then how many people about us consume what has come from a pig on a regular basis, if not one of the cheap staples in their diet? And how do we treat one another on a regular basis? I just tried to order something for tonight, and it had been like, so the store closed at 1 a.m. according to Google, and I called them at like 12:01 trying to order something, and they basically told me the kitchen's closed, motherfucker. You're not getting anything. and then hung up in my face without even like any kind of like oh yeah, it's all good, man, we had clothes, man, but you know, holler back at us like we got you next time, you know, like something cool like that. Motherfucker, get out my face. They hung the phone in my face. But it's all good because I had lost the leverage actually when I call like with like money to spend, and it's like of the regular business hours. I still have a little bit of leverage, but once it's got past 12:01, you don't have leverage anymore, and you try to be cool, you try to be, because I was like, damn, they closed already. I was like, man, I had seen it on Google, and then I was like, motherfucker, that phone got hung up in my face. But what I want to say is that it reminded me of how a pig would have answered the phone. And it actually sounded like a pretty pig, but that's how I can imagine a pig dealing with a customer 1 minute past when the kitchen closed and the store had been stated online and advertised to be open for another hour. So maybe I'm just a little bit maybe I'm just a little bit concerned about that in somewhere around the region of my gluteus maximus. But I meant to say that we become more and more like we consume is all I'm trying to say. And to take the opposite of that is like, maybe you don't have to go dammy all the way to Africa and eat the heart of a lion, but what would some carrot juice do for your character and your appearance, you know? So just start being aware of what you're consuming and how that can actually amount to your character disposition and the way you feel fundamentally. The heart of that being the way you feel, but then also the way you look, and then other people feel about you if they're not overcome with the influence of consuming different things that maybe alter their character in a less flattering way. But I hope someone can can appreciate this. And yet, at different times, we have had to eat different things to survive. And I'm not saying anything about that. Eating is eating. This entire universe is beautiful and it's unified. There's value in anything and whatever we have to eat to get by. The most pretentious thing a person could perhaps say and do in this life would be to dismiss or look down upon what another person has to eat to live. So I'm not coming from that angle. And also, we all have our different tastes, and we all have it's our prerogative to do and experience what we enjoy. So you know, as we can ethically and legally do so. And then deeper than that, whatever a person's background is about what it means to eat different things, that's yet I stand down from contending with that. But I just meant to say, just maybe appreciate the real character and essence of the living beings that have been sourced for your consumption. Because I think most of the things that we consume, or that we at least maybe would be benefited by consuming, were living to a degree in a certain state at one point. And to really recognize the character of that, honor the character of that, but then also recognize that we're taking that on with us for better or worse. So I hope this can be inspiration. And there's a book by I think Tanner Guzy about appearance, and that's a really excellent book. And what he says in there is that one of the most important things about becoming a more attractive person is just simply making stronger decisions around food. Exercise would be no less profound in the second step of that, but I think the first would be making stronger choices in consumption. So I hope everyone can find things to consume that make you beautiful on all levels, inside and out, and then we will all see your beauty and enjoy your beauty and be more like you. Peace.